students. Today we are supposed to discuss about the rise of Jainism and Buddhism, and this is the sixth chapter in the history. So before we discuss what all the things that we are supposed to discuss in this lesson, let us go through. The first of all, background situation before the rise of the Jainism. Next one, Buddhism. How was the situation existed in India before the 6th century? So that we are going to have the discussion. Next one, Jainism and Buddhism. These are the particular religion that we are going to have the discussion. The principles of Jainism, Buddhism, and after that one, how this Jainism and Buddhism they got spreaded across India and across the world. So these are the important four topics that we are going to discuss today. Introduction. Obviously, India is called as a land of many culture and religion because India is the country. India is the land which has given to the four religions. See, first of all, Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism, Sikhism. So these are the four important religions that have taken birth in Indian subcontinent. And Indian society was divided at the time, means they are talking about the at the time of the 6th century BCE. At the time, Indian society was divided on the basis of the Varna system. Varna system, obviously there were four Varnas: Brahmin, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. So that in these four category of the people, the Brahmin's response means main duty response to the Brahmin was to studying the Vedas, Upanishads and preaching same to the common people. Kshatriya, that is protecting our country from the attack of enemies. Vaishya, that is carrying the economic activities like trade, commerce, agriculture. So these are the important activities which were carried. And Shudra, in the case of Shudra, the giving service to the above three class was the main duty which was done by Shudra, like sweeping the garbage, cleaning the road and all, and giving service to the common people. That was the main important work which was given to the Shudras. And again we can say Shudra can be, again they were further divided into two sections. One is touchable, another one is untouchable. So today untouchable they are called SC and ST. And touchables, obviously OBC, means other backward classes. Today these Shudra, they have been recognized into three categories, that is OBC, SC and ST. This is different. Now, but we have to discuss about the phenomena which existed before this rise of Jainism and Buddhism, means before the 6th century. Now, this is the great symbol, that is Buddhism and Jainism. This is just have a look. Next one, the causes for the rise of Jainism and Buddhism. So was there any need to raise the Jainism and Buddhism in India? Obviously there was huge necessary because of which that these two religion was originated. First of all, let us understand. The primary cause was religious unrest which prevailed in India, especially at the time of 6th century. The complex ritual and sacrifice advocated in the law Vedic period were also not acceptable to the common people of India. Means whatever the complex rituals, practices, sacrifice which were advocated, especially Vedic culture or after the Vedic culture, later Vedic period. So these were not easy for the common people to follow. Because of that reason, they wanted to avoid these complex rituals, complex sacrifices, practices and all which were propagated by Hinduism. Because of that reason, most of the people they were fed up with the complex rules which were prevalent in Hinduism, and they wanted to leave it and they wanted to follow the new religion, that is Jainism and Buddhism. Next one, sacrificial ceremonies were also found to be too much expensive, we can say. Means whatever the rituals which were practiced, those were so much expensive, the people, common people, they were unable to afford them. Because of that reason, they were fed up with the system that was prevalent in Hinduism. Next one, superstitious belief and mantras, they confused to the people, especially the common people, and teaching of Upanishads and alternative system of the sacrifice were also highly philosophical in the nature, and therefore these were not easily understood by the common people of India. So that in this manner we have to understand, so that the people of India who wanted to live comfortable life or easy life, so that of Hinduism or complex Hinduism we can say, we are discussing about how the religious system was there in the later Vedic period. So that later Vedic culture or religious system of India that did not allow the common people to lead the simple life. Because of this reason only they wanted to get rid of this Hinduism and they wanted to follow the new philosophy, new teaching, new method of the life. And these exactly propagated by Jainism and Buddhism. Next one, and here one more thing is missed here. And in Hinduism, what happened? The most of Upanishads and Vedas and all these were taught in Sanskrit language, and which was not the language of the common people. The common people of India, they were unable to understand Sanskrit, but Hinduism was studied only in the Sanskrit. And the same was taught to the common people of India in Sanskrit language, so that people of India, they were unable to understand it. Next, social and economic factor. So far we discussed religious biasness, because of which that people of India, they wanted to get rid from this old tradition system. They wanted to follow the new system. But also the social and religious factors were also equally responsible for the rise of Jainism and Buddhism. First of all, rigid caste system that prevalent generated the tension in the society. Obviously, the caste system which was prevalent in India, that was so much hard to follow. It was so much difficult. No one could change. Already in that the Indian society, it was in hierarchical manner, like a pyramid. So that Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. So that suppose if a person, member person belonging to the Shudra, if they were having the quality of Brahmins, he couldn't upgrade his status from Shudra to the Brahmins. And if the one Brahman or Kshatriya, suppose let us say Kshatriya, the main responsibility duty of the Kshatriya was to ruling the country, protecting the country from the external attack. If a king was unable to rule the country, then he couldn't get degraded. He has to remain in the same place. So that completely we can say this is called rigid caste system. There was no any system where the changes could occur easily, because of which that the people, they wanted to get rid from this new system. Then again you can go through these important points that are very very important, so understanding, just to go through them. Next one, let us directly come to the point, that is Jainism. In Jainism, obviously there are 24 Tirthankaras. Tirthankaras, in some book it is given, here it is given 24 Tirthankaras. Tirthankaras or Tirthanka means prophets or gurus, we can say. So that almost all of them, they belong to the Kshatriya community, means second in the Indian strata of caste system or social system. The first one was Rishabhanatha, emblem is bull, we can say. And 23rd Tirthanka, that is Parshvanatha, we can say, and he was a son of King Ashoshyana of Banaras. Vardhamana Mahavira, he was 24th Tirthanka. Remember here, we do not have information of all 24 Tirthanka. Only information about the first Tirthanka, 23rd Tirthanka and 24th Tirthanka. Obviously we know that first Tirthanka was Rishabhanatha, and 23rd Tirthanka was Parshvanatha, and 24th Tirthanka was Vardhamana Mahavira. So this is only information is available. Next one, the mother name of that person, that is Vardhamana Mahavira, was Trishala Devi, sister of Lichavi king, we can say, and he got married with Yashoda. Here, Yashoda was a wife name of Vardhamana Mahavira, and they both had a daughter named as Priyadarshina, and whose husband Jamali became the first student or disciple of Vardhamana Mahavira, we can say. Next one, at the age of 30, our Vardhamana Mahavira, after the death of his parents, he became an ascetic. Means he left his home, he left his parents, after death of the parents, he left his home, wife, husband, daughter, everything. He left home and he went on searching the truth. That is enlightenment, we can say. Next one, and obviously he got after 13 years of his movement or roaming from here to there, so that he got enlightenment, that is supreme knowledge. And that enlightenment or supreme knowledge that our Vardhamana Mahavira got after 13 years search, then that enlightenment is called Kaivalya. This is very very important in various competitive exam. I have seen So what is the name given? What is the name, or by what name that Kaivalya is? I mean, the enlightenment of Vardha Mahavira is described. That is Kaivalya. And at the age of 72, our Vardhamana Mahavira, he died in Pavapuri, we can say, that comes in Patna, I mean Bihar. So today he died, I mean we can say today's Patna, which comes in the Bihar, he died. And that death of Mahavira has been called as a Nirvana. Please remember here, two words are very very important. So Kaivalya, for what reason Kaivalya is called? When our Vardhamana Mahavira got enlightenment, that is called as a Kaivalya, and he died. Death of our Vardhamana Mahavira is described as a Nirvana. Next one, teaching. The teaching of our, Jainism or Vardhamana Mahavir. So first of all, three teachings have been propagated by Vardhamana Mahavira. That is Ahimsa, Satya, Asteya, Aparigraha and Brahmacharya. So that he said, do not give any injury to the people. Means non-violence, we can say. So that non-violence was the philosophy which was propagated by our Mahavira, or teaching of Mahavira, we can say. And he said, do not lie. Lying is a bad habit. Do not lie. Next, Asteya means do not steal the property of others. Next one, fourth, that is a no possession. So that means do not earn the property. Obviously, it's not acceptable at present scenario, but it was a teaching of our Vardhamana Mahavira. Next one, Brahmacharya. So obviously he got married, but he propagated Brahmacharya, which is also not acceptable at present scenario. So these are the five principles which were propagated or teachings of the Vardhamana Mahavira or Jainism also, we can say. And Vardhamana Mahavira, he taught five jewels of Jainism. So three Ratna also can be called. Sorry, three jewels, we can say, three Ratnas. First of all, right faith, right knowledge and right conduct. If you want to lead the life happily, then if these three principles one has to adapt in a life, then only one can live the happy. I am not saying, I am just quoting the Vardhamana Mahavira. So these are the important thought given by our Mahavira. Next, come to the point, another important religion which was founded in India during the 6th century, that is Buddha. So here this is the picture of Buddha, we can say, making the meditation. So today, which is very much popular. Now, life of Buddha, Gautam Buddha, we can say. So that he was born in the year 563 BC on Vishaka Purnima day at the Lumbini, that comes in today's Nepal. Means our Buddha, Gautam Buddha, he was born in Nepal, and his mother died after the 7 days of birth of our Buddha, and brought up by his stepmother, that is called Gautami. And our Mahavira got married at the age of 16 to the Yashodhara. It is the name of wife of Gautam Buddha, and he got a son that is called Rahul. Next one, he left his palace at the age of 29, and obviously he went on in the search of the truth. As in the case of Mahavira also, he left the house, he left the family, and he went on for the searching the truth. So that in the case of our Gautam Buddha also, at the age of the 29, he left the home and he went on searching for the truth. And this and one more thing, he wandered for about 6 years. And after wandering for about 6 years, he got enlightenment. That is called Nirvana. Enlightenment, we can say. And he got that one at the age of 35. And that he got Gaya, Magadha, Bihar under the Pipal tree. Remember here, Pipal tree, when he was making the meditation. So that at the time, he got enlightenment under the Pipal tree. So it is believed that here today also this Pipal tree is present. If you go to Bihar, Uttar Pradesh and all, so this tree can be found today in Bihar. And he delivered, after the getting enlightenment, he delivered his first sermon. Sermon means teaching, we can say, at the Saranatha. So these are very very important. What is the under the which tree our Gautam Buddha got enlightenment? Obviously Pipal tree. Name of the place or what it is called Nirvana. And first sermon, first teaching in which place it was given? Obviously Saranatha. where his 5 disciples have settled, and his first sermon is called as a Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Remember here, this is very very important. The first sermon means teaching. The first teaching of Gautam Buddha or Gautami Buddha is called Dharma Chakra Parivartana. In English, turning of wheel of the law. In attained the Mahaparinirvana at Kushinagar in the year 488 BC at the age of the 80. Means we can say at the time of at the age of 80, our Mahavira died, and death of Mahavira, sorry, not Mahavira, Gautam Buddha. Death of Gautam Buddha is called Mahaparinirvana. So that important information is given here regarding the Gautam Buddha Buddhism. It is the one of the religion, and the questions related to this topic we can expect in the exam, not only in our upcoming school examination and all, even in a competitive exam also we can say. So this is, so first of all, birth, where he was born, Lumbini. Next one, and that has been symbolized as a lotus and bull. Next one, great departure, means when, in which place he left the home. Departure, the leaving the home or becoming like nomadic person, that is called great departure, and he left from this place. And that leaving the home, that is called by this name, and obviously that is symbolized as a horse. Next one, he got enlightenment after searching for the truth for about 6 years. He got enlightenment. He got in the place that is Gaya, and that has been called as a Nirvana. And Bodhi tree, under the which tree? People tree, Bodhi tree, both are same. So that under the tree, that is Bodhi tree, he got enlightenment. Next one, first sermon. Sermon means obviously teaching. He delivered his first teaching in Saranatha, and that has been historically known as Dharma Chakra Parivartana, and this is called wheel. Please make a note this one. So today, lotus, bull, horse, Bodhi tree and wheel, these are symbols of Buddhism. Next one, Kushinagara, it is a place of the death, and this death of Gautam Buddha has been described as a Mahaparinirvana. And Stupa, means Stupa is the place or structure of Buddhism where the statue of this Buddhism can be seen. Next one, 4 noble principles or truth we can say, which were propagated by Buddhism. The first of all, he said, Buddhism say, life is full of the misery or sorrowful. Means entire the life is going under the sorrowful condition, misery. And what they are saying, the further they go in saying, so desire is only the cause for the misery that we are suffering from. First of all, once again I will let you know that life is completely full of the sorrowness, misery. And what is the main cause? What is the main reason? Obviously, the desire we are having, excessive desire. And the killing of the desire is only the way through which you can kill the sorrowness. If once a desire is killed, then sorrowness, misery, that you can do away with. This is they are saying. Next one, first of all, 8-fold path of the Buddhism. This is very very important. The first of all, right belief, right thought, right speech, right action, right living, right effort, right recollection, and right meditation. So if you want to lead the happy, comfortable, peaceful life then everybody should follow these 8-fold paths. So these are teaching or philosophy of the Buddhism. Please go through this one. Next one, obviously one more important, after the death of our Gautam Buddha, so that many more council means like a meeting were conducted. This is very very important from competitive exam point of view. So that many questions I have seen in a competitive exam. First council or first meeting was conducted especially in the same year in which our Gautam Buddha died, under the chairmanship of a king we can say. So Mahakashapa, it is the name of the king who was the chairman of this meeting, first meeting, and in which year it was conducted? Obviously 488. Only this much you have to remember. Next, second meeting was conducted or council was conducted, so that at Vaishali in the year 383. Remember, please one more thing everybody should notice here. The first meeting was conducted in 483. Second meeting was conducted after 100 years, means 383. Just you can have a question, sir, after 100 years means it should be 583. Please remember, here we are discussing about the era, that is BCE, before common era, means year go back as you move forward. And already I have made it very clear in class, so that is not required to teach you. Now let us move on. A third council, that was conducted at Pataliputra, and in the year 250 BC under the Tisa king. And next, fourth counciling obviously at Kushinagar, and it was conducted by chairman was Ashok Ghosha. And so many things that please remember, these are important 4 meetings that everybody should remember here. And this is the architecture of Buddhism. It can be called stupa. So that stupa, and this is the place where the statue of Buddhism can be found. Next one, how this was spreaded, Buddhism was spreaded. Remember here, obviously in that 4 religions they have taken birth in the country that is called India. That is Hinduism, Jainism, Buddhism and Sikhism. So that here, when these 2 religions they had taken birth, they got spread to Tibet, China, we can say Myanmar, Philippines, in many other areas, even Japan also, the religion which is following these 2 religions, that is Buddhism. So that here, even Sri Lanka also we can see that Buddhism, China, even Mongolia. So these are Philippines, here it is Japan, Korea, means South Korea, North Korea. Today very very important countries, especially South Korea is a very developed country and North Korea is not that much. So that here is the place, especially the Eastern Asian continent and Southeast Asian countries also we can say. So this is the place where Jainism and Buddhism they started to spread. Thank you.